Hi everyone, welcome back to The Whole Truth. If you haven't already, please subscribe. So I want to take this time to address 4 points, 4 common misconceptions that I'm seeing a lot online right now when it comes to Iran. Point number 1 is the origin of the current Islamic regime of Iran. A lot of people fail to realize is that this regime this is not an organic homegrown regime. This was a regime that was imposed on Iran by the outside, including the CIA, the French, and others, okay? A lot of people did not expect this regime to turn out the way that it did, obviously, but this was not the regime that the Iranian people want. I think it has something like 10% popular support within the country, if that. Probably a lot less now. So if you're anti-imperialist, if you're anti-interventionist, you should be against this regime. And also, the way that this regime maintains power, as we can see right now, is actually by bringing in foreigners, okay? Foreigners from mostly Arab countries to crack down on the native Iranian people. Second point is that when it comes to war by the US or Israel on Iran, what it needs to be said is that the Iranian regime has declared war against the US and Israel, and especially Israel, which they vowed to destroy ever since its founding, the Iranian regime's founding. Therefore, if there is an attack by Israel or the United States under international law, this is a preemptive attack in self-defense. Now, if the Iranian regime didn't declare war against Israel and the United States, then there wouldn't be a legal justification to launch an attack. But because the Iranian regime not only declared war, but yells throughout their streets and in their parliament, death to America, death to Israel, every chance they get, there is no law that says that America or Israel has to wait until the Iranian regime has the capability to launch the attack, okay? So any attack by the US or Israel is perfectly justified. Third point, we're seeing a lot of news about mosques being burned down in Iran. This is not because the Iranian people, well, I guess maybe some of it is because the Iranian people hate Islam. But it must be said that these mosques are not just places of worship. These are bases for the Iranian regime. They store weapons there, they store people there, not unlike how Hamas uses mosques and hospitals and schools to hide. That's what these mosques are being used for. It is also it's being used to impose their will, their belief system on the Iranian people who reject it. Remember, the Iranian civilization predates the Islamic conquest by thousands of years. Okay? So not everybody in Iran wants to live under an Islamic theocracy. Number 4, and most important, we're hearing a lot about the Shah. We're hearing most of the people in the streets of Iran are chanting Javid Shah, bring back the Shah, or long live the Shah. And it needs to be understood that what the Iranian people are asking for here is not to bring some sort of monarchic dictatorship or tyranny, okay? It's not out of a naive longing for a past medieval kingdom. It is because the Shah represents national sovereignty. He is a child of Iran, and they want him to come back to lead, especially during the transition government, before there can be a referendum to decide exactly what sort of government they want. But even if the Iranian people, which should be allowed to decide what sort of government they want, even if they choose a constitutional monarchy, it needs to be understood that the Shah is not going to be a dictator, supreme dictator. The government is going to be run democratically with the prime minister and other ministers, and the Shah will be a symbolic head of state. So if you're truly anti-imperialistic, if you're truly against America and other countries imposing their will on Iran, then you should be supportive of the Iranian people bringing back who they want, which is the Shah and no one else. He's the only person right now with the legitimacy to run Iran. I hope that clears everything up.